Alright, welcome to this edition of Man Cave. We're chilling right here. Yes, it's so good to be back. Sasa. Yes. Hey, unajua mtoto imeingia. Nimekuwa mimi sinaita babe. Sasa lazima nikuwe na mtoto. Nikuwa baby. Welcome to this edition of Man Cave. Today we are talking about basically who's cooking the roles, the traditional roles of man and woman in a relationship, and whether they have changed. I think they have, and where can we find sort of a balance? Of course, to help us with the conversation, Queen. Somebody Queen.
Let's just go with Sheila.
Sheila? It's Kwambok. Sheila Kwambok is here. Of course, the very loud, very charismatic, and the sane and often insane Pastor Kuria pia kwa hapa. Unaona vile nimewani nini? Wengine
huyu ni women rep.
Huyu ni women rep. Ama atakuwa nominated. All right, so Queen now is good.
Yes.
Okay, so I guess let's start by talking about the roles. Have the roles generally changed? And by the way, if you want to talk to us, the hashtag to use is Power Breakfast. Share your views. Should a man cook, clean, and do other things? So go ahead and talk to us using the hashtag Power Breakfast as well, and we'll be sampling some of views. The SMS line is also 22422. Let's begin by defining some of those roles. Do you think the roles have changed?
It was very shocking.
And why?
Let me tell you, a lot changed. I mean, over the last few weeks, we know we have had issues with flour.
Flour. Na
Inga. Yeah. In terms
United
of
Nations General Assembly.
Yeah. Unga.
Yes.
So when Unga went up, very few women complained. Because they're like, see me nitapika. Unga sio yangu. And others are not affected totally by the change of prices of flour. Because they're not the ones picking these days. Right? Then they know they're supposed to be a hired professional, domestic, efficiency manager, governor of the home, servant, creator, whatever you want to call her, with 8,000 names, who's meant to be cooking, not herself. I think women have forgotten the rule completely.
All right, Sheila, what do you think?
Completely. Let me just add that I forgot that completely. The second one.
You know, in this day and age, there's a lot of things that are happening. Gone are the days where the man is the one who goes out to look for a job. I mean, to look to hunt, to gather, you know, to bring the food back, and the woman would be there washing the motor, waiting for the food to be there. Now we have a situation where, and even last week we were talking about, you could be in an office and your wife is your boss.
Right.
You understand? So I'm at work. The boss has kept me overtime. You are seated in the digs waiting for me to cook for you. Partnership requires that if you're the one who gets home first, help the kids do their homework, you know, make the dinner. If you're going to use the home engineer to make dinner and, you know, switch on the heater, that's A-okay. Whoever gets there first. If I get there first, I'll do it. Yeah.
Well, I think there is boundaries for everything. And the football field has always boundaries in one area or another. And let me not be like a referee who just ran for 90 minutes looking for mistakes. But let me stick to the original plan of God. Who is a woman and who is a man? If I try to change what God created me to be, then I'll abuse God's purpose. So I think I'll stick to woman should cook. Yeah. Should
so cook. As a man,
if necessary, if necessary, emergency. If my wife is sick, we can't sleep. You know, if my wife is feeding the kid, I can cook tea for myself. But don't think that I'll cook chapatis, I cook ugari, I cook nyeni, I cook mandizi, and my wife sit there waiting for me to cook for her. I think not me.
What is wrong? What is wrong with the guy cooking for himself?
Okay. There is nothing wrong, Shira. There is nothing wrong.
It's about rules. Let's get something about rules. And I want to support what he has said. He talked about rules. And traditionally, that rule is a rule that women should uphold. It's not a rule to say that it's a punishment. That's your traditional role, and that role you're supposed to hold it with pride, because she was the one who's the caregiver to some extent. I mean, a woman's hand is the one najua kuchapa coffee, and the same hand that is used to caress. A man's hand is used to count money. That's what his purpose is. Yeah? He knows how to use a mwiko to beat the kiddo, but also to cook. The guy knows how to buy a mwiko. So let's be very clear. It's because of the role and her capacity and ability to care for that's what her role has been given traditionally. It's not a punishment.
Willis, yes. You know, I love how Africans, when it comes, tradition is only convenient. You understand? Because we live in a society that not so long ago polygamy was the thing.
Right.
You know, and now we're talking about mpango wa kando. We used to live in a society where almost 3/4 of the country had female circumcision. We all are against it right now. That is tradition. You understand? So roles have changed. Before, a woman wouldn't even hold a job, let alone own a piece of property. So tradition has changed. Yes. And why is it? For me, to be honest, when we talk about tradition, it is only convenient when the woman remains at her position. You understand? If she tries to get out, you know, say, okay, you know what, I want to go out there and actually help. You want me to come home and cook for you, but at the same time you want me to do what was originally. Hold on. Let me finish my point. You want me to stay home, cook for you because it's you know, it's upholding tradition. But if you use that same logic, in tradition, the man was the one to go out and get the bread. Yes. Now, we live in a society where your bread alone cannot manage. So I'm stepping out of my comfort zone to come and help you out so we can feed. But you cannot step down to help me be able to take care of the family because it's tradition. How convenient.
You see that anger there in I
don't know, I'm not angry.
I want 22 chapatis by 9:30 p.m.
And that's not a problem.
No,
that's
guys,
not a problem.
Let's go to the second part of my answer. My first part was understanding the role traditionally. Then which was man and what and to the caregiving. Yes, woman. Now this is where I support modern life. My second part is that who fills that role. Now I am not against a guy not filling the role today. If the guy wants to become the dame and wear apron na ivae nini, hata kama nataka kuweka
but you see
hata tinta nataka kuweka tinta pike.
Let me stop you there. So you're saying what you're basically saying is if the man wants to become a dame, that's also part of the conversation, because men who do that are now all of a sudden no, you're a wuss, you're a lady. So just from what you said, like if the man wants to become the lady, apron,
and I'm saying, and he holds it to the same pride that traditionally it has been held with. Because what I'm saying is there needs to be a homemaker. Okay. Whoever decides to take that role.
So it can be the man.
It can be the guy taking the role.
I feel like you're contradicting yourself.
No. I am saying this. I said traditionally a woman ran that role. Today's world, there have been changes, and based on those changes, anyone can take that role. But what I am not supporting is we should have a balance where if you come early today, it's a race home. No. I am saying there's one person who primarily that will be their role.
You know, it's good for
no.
It's good for somebody to know why. It's good for somebody to know his office. Right. You can enter many offices, but you have your office.
You choose what your role is.
You get what I mean. So when I cook for my girl or for my babe, for that matter, when I cook for her, let her not think that I'm supposed to be doing that, but I can do it maybe once in a blue moon.
Yes, a very blue moon.
You get me. But let her not make it a culture that she can even be on bed and tell me, "Oh, please, can you cook me tea?" No. Let me do it voluntarily. You see, but let nobody force me to do it. As Sheila is trying to tell me that now, because she is late at work, I cook for her instead of me. She knows she is supposed to cook, so she has to balance work, cooking. She has to balance all things. See,
should have seen the look on Sheila's face when you say that.
Yeah, that's why I'm not looking at her.
Let's get this clear. Let's get it very clear. Willis, you know what she's talking about? She's talking about balance. Me, I'm not supporting that it's a woman's. He says traditional, it's a woman's role. I'm not saying traditional that we should remain in the tradition that it's a woman's role. But if the guy takes that role, he takes it wholeheartedly, because it's such an important role. Someone has to do it all out. Not tukipatana nyumbani wewe fika fast na cooks. Because you know what will happen? It will become something called a reverse race. Kila mtu anajaribu kuchelewa.
There was this story of the
nimeshikana kazi.
Wait, okay, we have Sheila has not
let me add some poison. There is a story of this guy who was in the desert with a camel. And he was in a small tent. But when they started raining, the camel requested the guy, let me just put the head only. And at the end of the day, the whole tent was gone. Yeah? That's exactly, if you try to pray about with women, utaanza kupika, and the next day you start washing clothes.
There is that quote over there on the side of the screen, says, I know what women want. I want you to drag them to the bedroom, throw them on the bed, and do dirty dishes while they take a nap.
You know,
so
there's so many, I mean,
just an example of what's going on.
Interesting, contradicting points. And I'm so glad we're having this conversation, because I don't think you guys know what you're supposed to be doing. Because at the end of the day, Roy saying, yeah, I can cook once in a while.
I didn't say that. That's not what I'm saying. I didn't.
So you shouldn't cook.
I said if I do take the role of cooking,
you're
the cook of the house. That's what I'm saying. Yes,
so
no
today,
balance.
If you're the one who switches on the switch, so from today onwards you're the one who
there's no such role. There's no electricity
what I'm saying is
there's no such role.
Situations change. Your wife can be sick, so you don't cook?
That's an emergency, guys. Don't confuse an emergency with a role.
Also, there are special occasions.
There are roles. I am saying, if your role, the role is I am the one who tills the land. That is your role, and you're the one who cooks. I'm saying it's clear cut. It's not I till half, I cook half. You till half, you cook half. I'm saying balance, because that role, homemaking, is a role. It's not something you decide at 6 p.m. No, it's not a role that you decide. It's something that's a habit, but there are emergencies. As Pastor said, if there's an emergency, like if my friend wants to buy me a drink, that's an emergency.
That's an emergency. Wow.
So Pastor says that you know, don't force me. Like, let it be a gift I'm giving you. Sawa. Ile siku yenye nitashikwa kwa traffic, you know, anything can happen. I can be held up in traffic, and you're like, I call you, I'm like, sweetie, please weka maji pasta, you know, and put the pasta in the water and boil that kanini, I'm coming. Kata nyanya na vitunguu. According to pasta, it will be like, na huyu ananiongelesha aje? You understand?
No, you are not always in jam 24/7. You can be in jam for once, maybe in a month. I don't mind cooking for you.
Next governor, you are not in a jam.
Once a month.
Every evening you are in jam. I cook for you. Katakata vitunguu, katakata nini, utakuta hata nimejikata.
Nimejikata ni kwenda.
Hata kutengeneza majam. The only time you can have that much jam ni kucheza reggae. That's the only way.
My question is this, that let's look at Roy's scenario, for example. So Roy, you're saying that it's either one way or the other, right? So if you're the cook, utakuwa cook. So there's a scenario where you're not the cook, right? So umesema wewe ni the tiller of the land and wewe ni cook. So umefika nyumbani. Classic scenario, you get home and like Sheila is saying, wife yako kwa jam, but your role is mulishaelewa na mimi ni mtu wa kutil. But ako kwa jam na pengine ni 7 or 8 anaingia kwa nyumba 8. So utangoja kuja kwa jam?
No, that is an emergency, and I'm saying let's be careful about an emergency. The difference between a role. A role, listen, in a hospital, a doctor has a role, right? Should the doctor not make it to the hospital in time, will the nurse stand there and say, I'm not doing anything, and tell the girl who's dying, ngoja daktari anakuja saa hizi, najua kuna jam, just wait, msikufe saa hizi, ngoja kidogo tu, 5 more minutes, right? She will take responsibility and do something about the situation, because but there's clearly someone who has a role. So don't confuse emergencies with taking over roles. So I'm saying, if my wife is late, definitely it's my role to cook. Secondly, if I come home and I'm in the mood to do this for her, definitely I should push it out. But I'm saying, let's begin to have roles. And I am also saying, it doesn't have to be the guy, I mean the lady, who takes that cooking role. But if the guy is mpishi, what if she's the one who throws wood in kupika? Kazi yake ni kuboil maji. That's one of the best things she's good at cooking is water. Right? Then the guy should be the guy cooking, is the one who's good at it.
Right. And Puffy and
Willie.
It's a honeymoon. You know, It's so interesting because I know we're going to talk about how roles have changed. Then we're always talking about how the role for the woman has changed. But let's talk about how the role of the man has also changed.
Right.
Because when we talk about role changing, it's always, you know, the woman nowadays she's working, nowadays she's doing career, blah blah blah. But man is still the head of the house, is still the one bringing the paper. Let's look at a scenario where Pasia said it's your role to cook, and me it's my role to be cooked for. Yeah. And you're not managing your role for whatever reason. We're not saying that maybe you're a bad guy, maybe your salary has been reduced or you've been fired. So you still sit there and say you're doing your role while I'm still going out to get the bread and I'm still coming back to cook for you. No problem, but you must acknowledge that when roles change, we all have to adapt. You can't sit there and say I cook for you, you don't have a job, you're sitting at home calling me uko wapi, and I'm like, dude, I'm caught up in traffic.
There is a saying in Kikuyu which goes like you cannot do in your house the same thing I do in my house, because maybe you are a cook in a hotel and you are a man and you are home, you don't feel the taste of the food that your wife is cooking. So I think it's your role to teach her how to cook. But when she knows how to cook, you should not continue cooking. I had a small dog which did not know how to bark, and I taught it how to bark. When I was sitting against it, I was going like wah, 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 and I was like wah, 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 wah. But when the dog started barking, I stopped barking.
Yes, because
we cannot bark, both of us. Let's maintain the role.
Let's take a look about what guys are saying on SMS.
You know, some animals you want him to train.
Yeah, I think we should give him. Let a kuku sasa.
Unajua kuifundisha kutaka mayai.
No, those are things. That's nature. It just comes by itself.
Alright, let's take a look what guys are saying on SMS platform, which is 22422. The woman is cooking, alright, no more, less. So nikipika vibaya because I'm not a good cook, she will start quarreling me. The lady isn't serious. Then somebody says, let me ask Mankush this one, ambayo inanisumbua. Mkilala usiku, ngoja kwanza nisome hii kwa sababu let me just vet it. Okay, sawa. Okay, mkilala usiku eti mwanaume alale amekuwekelea miguu, alafu una complain na tumechoka, hiyo mambo hataki. Lakini utataka nipumzike saa ngapi na nimeshinda na mtoi na nimefanya kazi ya nyumba the whole day na bado una expect vitu zingine. Alright, then somebody says the shortest way to a man's heart is through the stomach, likewise to a woman, according to him, is through the pocket. Women should cook. This one says please marry from some communities, some other communities. And then somebody says hi for breakfast, I really love this morning's discussion. Can you let the lady know that I feel her argument? However, if she does refer to herself as a Christian, let her read the law of God concerning gender roles according to Thessalonians. Come on. If she refers to herself as an African woman, then let her know of the wisdom that her forerunners carried. However, I do believe in partnership, but let it be that there is a difference between role and turning those roles. There's another long one here, but since you know, whenever somebody says a name, so I'll go. Willis, please ask Sheila what she would do about dowry now that the world has changed. Either we throw away tradition or we acknowledge roles. Her name is H.Y. Hickey. I don't know if that's a male or a female. And then finally, a woman is very powerful as long as she takes care of her kitchen and home. A good career is just a plus. It is romantic for a man to cook, but it is not his role. He has been married for 12 years. I have been married for 12 years, and that is Jackie Ombech.
One brilliant thing about everyone who's spoken there is they've used the word rules. Rules. Not emergencies. And emergency. You will never see. Emergency. She's never going to be coming through. Let me tell you something. It's just as simple as that. Let's understand what that role is, that caregiver, that role, and understand what is needed for that role. As I said again, then in that case, if we keep using things have changed, therefore roles don't change, who does it might change because of time, but the role still has to be played by someone. Therefore, as that person asked about dowry, in that case, if we're going to just use our excuse that times have changed and therefore everything should change, then we change dowry.
It also goes back to what
Sheila
said when, you know, talking about convenience, in terms of it is only convenience for the role to change. You know, wanaume atafurahi asilipe dowry, saa times have changed, dowry atolibi asahau. But ikifika kwa jikoni, unafaa kuwa unapika. Hiyo ndo.
But dowry men have not said that they don't pay it. In fact, they've insisted they want to pay.
No, I'm just saying the argument that Sheila was making, where tradition is only used when it's convenient
for men.
Yes.
No, because you see, the thing is, honestly,
tell me one tradition that has changed for the favor of the woman.
Let me tell you something. First of all, honestly, and the reason why guys use it is because tradition favors men. It favored men quite a bit. And why did it favor men? Because a lot was expected out of men. And I am supporting the idea that Sheila is saying that if men stop playing their role, then of course you change things. If you're not playing your role,
let's say that there are things which cannot change. There are things which cannot be giving birth. I'll never give birth.
You will never.
I'll never, because I'm not created to do that.
Yeah, you can give birth to money.
Well, it depends with the understanding of giving birth and maybe the school rent. But look here, men cooking is not evil. It's not evil. Because I even remember one guy who told his son, can you go look for some food, cook for me so that I can bless you? Okay? Yeah, it was the guy who was told to cook.
Yeah.
But he was not cooking daily. He was only cooking for that particular event. So let's not just take that one and tell men that they should be cooking for their wives, cooking for children. But I can do it when it's necessary for me to do so. Because once my wife has gone maybe for a party somewhere and they are late, I cannot see my children suffering.
Yeah.
I can also
jump in.
Let me tell you, Raburu. I bought sufuriyas. Why? Because I know how to use them. I bought the jiko, I know how to use it. But it does not need somebody to push me to do it. I should do it voluntarily. And that's why I'm differing with my sister here. That's why I'm not looking at her. Yeah? Because she wants to make her own jams every day so that I can cook for her. That one I will not accept.
Let me tell you something. The only thing I have asked here
is blocking me.
The only thing I've asked here is name one tradition that has changed in favor of the woman.
We're not
since no. That's the question.
To what end? Okay, I'll say none. To what end is the argument?
That's what I'm saying. So when we're talking about roles, yeah, they evolve in favor of the man. You understand? You want me to go, we live in 2017. I don't think there's any woman out there, unless it's by choice or maybe lack of opportunity, that is not out there breaking bread.
Why don't you understand the purpose of a woman? Is to help. In Genesis chapter 2 verse 18, it's not good for a man to be alone. I'll make him a helper. So let's not try to overturn this and I become the helper. You are always the helper until you die.
I think we're choosing selectively.
No. just coming back to let's allow Pastor to expound on his point. So I'm always subordinate to you.
Well,
what did he say exactly? Sorry, can I jump in for 2 seconds?
No, I'm just asking a question.
2 points, because I can choose to answer that question the same way. He ran away from the other question, and it's very simple. The word subordinate, again, I'm saying, I think we're misunderstanding what we said about cooking. How has it become a subordinate role?
No, he said we are only his helper until the day we die.
That's what Pastor said.
What Pastor said. That's what I was
about it. Oh, not from a cooking context.
Yeah. That one I support you.
So we are subordinate. So women are subordinate to you until the day you die. Until the day we die.
Not really.
Because that's what you said.
There is another one which comes in here. It's called love. What is love?
So now there's love.
Yeah. Let me come here. Being my wife does not mean you are my lover.
Yeah.
You can be my wife just to give birth to my children, but I don't love you.
It's true.
There is always a man has Rachel and has Leah. Leah to give birth, Rachel to go for party.
I feel like you're just
Why are you not letting me finish the point? You see, that is deep in man's heart. So when I do whatever I want to do, let me do it not because I'm forced to do it. Let it not be al-kacha. I'm not supposed to be going behind my kitchen door every time to look at the timetable, what is supposed to be cooked. Because I'm not even the one who made that timetable. It was made by my wife. So when she's telling me, baby, can you cook? I'm coming. What am I cooking? That's number one. Whatever am I cooking, have I brought it or you brought it? Because when my wife buys a fish, it's because she knows how to
cook the fish.
If she tells me to cook that fish and I don't know how to cook the fish, then there'll be a crash in the house. So let's maintain this. Everybody has a role to play. Play your role without complaining.
You know one thing I have to say, and I support Sheila for exactly 8 seconds. I don't enter that hole. That hole is deep. You're shimo. After you're near graft. Shimo. Now, the thing is, the word subordinate is what I kept defining with, because for me, I kept looking at the role of cooking or caring in the home as actually a very proud role that women carry well. And it scores a very special place in a man's heart. You play that role well, it takes things to another level. The day you abuse the role and begin to look at it as a subordinate role, then that's a very dangerous place in a relationship, because that's where you win. It's the same way a man is expected to go out there and till the land, work hard, right? So in the day he's overworking, he should take pride in that he's doing it for that home. Those were the roles, and that's the way they were traditionally. As things have changed, then so be it. That if that's the role and it's changed, then also other things begin to change underneath it. Which means, therefore, I am saying the role still remains consistent. There's a role for a caregiver. Kama kazi yako ni kusoma ma timetable ya kupika, and that's your role, it can be done by a guy. That's my argument. What I'm disagreeing with Sheila, and she keeps insisting, is whoever fikas home first. You can't do that game ya mpira. Ukifunga bao wewe ndio unapika, kama ufungi wewe upiki. It's not just a choice of if or maybe. I think it's a role that needs to be taken seriously, and whoever takes that role holds that role. Primarily, you start cooking, you become the cook.
Let's be realistic, okay?
Okay.
You know, because now we're just speaking of hypotheticals, and I really feel like, one, Pastor, you're in a different generation. People are leaving their offices at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. and eating takeout. So if you're talking about like, oh, when it gets due, blah, 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 not to say that women don't like to. There are women who love to cook. And there are women who, by the way, for real, after you've said, the only thing she knows is how to boil water. And the society is forcing her, by the way, it is your role to cook. And so she gets a help, or she uses a husband as well who knows how to cook, and they make the meal together. But she takes that responsibility of when it comes to the kitchen.
She manages it.
But there's some men who are really experts in the kitchen. Now, why should I take responsibility of the kitchen when this guy is an expert in the kitchen? Number one. Number two, when you talk about roles, stick to your role, stick to your role, yeah? Then I expect, and there are women who are watching this and there are men who are watching this who know that right now, maybe the past 1 year, 2 years, your wife has been the one who's supporting you. And when we have mentality like stick to your role, tradition, blah blah blah, the man is sinking in this, because you're expected by an imaginary society to pull up the socks, be the one who goes out there and looks for a job. And we know very well there are no jobs. There's no money. Someone is sitting there and the wife has a job, so she goes to work for this guy, and that's a partnership. And anybody out there who's looking at these two might not understand what is going on, but the two of them, they do, and they have mutual respect in the house. So the only thing I'm saying is, I love when people pull this tradition card. You understand? Like, oh, it's tradition to
don't
do
look
this,
at me when you
do
talk
that.
about it's tradition for women.
But honestly, when we talk about tradition and it evolving, we're only talking about the role of the woman. When is it evolving for the man as well? When is it evolving? This guy doesn't have a job. And we're not talking, I'm not talking about hypothetical 10 people out there. I'm talking about the reality on the ground. And these are the things that are causing divorce, because people can't have conversations between the two of you and say, hey, things have changed. Okay, now you'll have to do this, and then me, I'll have to do that. I got you. But we have to have mutual respect, because society has to dictate to you how to live together with your person in the house, because roles.
No, I don't have any problem with that.
Let's get something clear here, Willis.
Right,
Yeah?
right.
There's a job called going out there to look for cash, and we're losing it here when we keep saying it's about you play there's no roles, anyone plays any role. No, I'm talking about there's a job outside there in the office, and there's a person who leads on that job. It's not equal. One person will always be in the lead, and there's a job called the homemaking. That's a job, and someone will lead there. And the leader doesn't actually mean that the person will have to physically even have to do it. I could be the guy who's cooking, but she's kind of managing the situation. She's still the homemaker. And I think we've used cooking so much to this point that we're forgetting about. I keep talking about homemaking. Chores. We're talking about looking at cooking as an example of other things. Clothes, what? Just managing the home. Right? Then in that case, we're going to reach a point where there's an extreme balance where she's out working, then I should be the one managing them both. And believe me, there are men who are very good at managing housemaids. Right? If you give me that role, you might overgive a guy a role, say, see, when you are money, take care of everything, I want kupika, you and the housemaid manage that situation. Right? Right? So let's not get carried away in the situation where we're trying to understand is we're looking at chores and who is the leader, because they're department in the marriage. There's the office, which is a department in the marriage. The home is a department in the marriage, and each department has to have a leader. It can't have we're all equal, because it will never be run efficiently like that.
All right, let me try to rail this in. Let's see where everybody stands, because now so you're saying, like you said, you're still sticking to the point of pick the role, be the leader in it, go out and
take it.
But there are emergencies.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So and Sheila, your school of thought is, well, it's balanced. It's, you know, tukae chini tuelewane.
Whoever beats the jump.
Yes. No. What? That is the same example, like just picking on cooking. I know. Yeah. So for you, it is you know, tukae chini tuelewane. Okay, mimi, my job is maybe mini daktari.
Yeah. Na
wewe ni accountant. So,
but we can depending on time.
Okay.
Let me ask you.
Okay,
have you ever met a family where the dad doesn't have a job? Does that family come to a standstill? But it is the toughest thing to see your dad without a job. You know why?
Right.
Because now, according to his other people, he has been domesticated. But what they are not seeing is that his wife has actually taken that role to be able to help him out until the moment he gets out of that situation. But it's a thankless job for the woman, because she still has to come back home and be, no problem, she can still come take care of the, you know, give instructions to the house help. So when we're talking about women roles, see, the woman has adjusted. She can still be your helper, subordinate, going out there to look for your money, right? But you sit there and still be the guy, the boss, and you're not bringing any money, you're not helping in the home. So explain to me, what role have you taken?
Okay, you see,
just because I'm not helping in the home.
You're trying to understand.
You pastor, is your argument or your school of thought that man baki man,
yes,
woman mukai na marole zenyu.
That's otherwise when you do opposite of your role, you are abusing, you know, the whole plan of God. You get what I mean?
But is it helper or subordinate? I think Sheila needs to understand.
Number two,
is it helper or subordinate?
Let me finish. let me not use those words. If I use those words, I'll not be a real pastor. Now, when Sheila is telling me that the wife is working and the woman, the husband is just sitting there, that shows the husband is lazy, because God does not promise everybody to be in the office. He bless the work of your hands. Since you have hands, you have an office, so you can make money even if you are not employed. You can employ yourself in one way or another. So the men who are sitting down there thinking that because they are not employed by the government, or they keep on singing their song, you know, you can do a lot of things when you have hands. So let's come back to the kitchen, because this is where the problem is. The work of the kitchen surely is for the lady, but I myself, I can assist her because I love her. You know, I can go with, she can, like me, I love cooking ugari so much, and especially when I'm picking the sufria, we're carrying ugari here and then put. I love that. I love that so much. You get me? But let nobody tell me to do it. Let me do it when I feel I want to do it. And I show her I still love you. But let her be proud when she is cooking. Yeah.
Alright, let's take some views here on social media. Mutunga Pato anasema times have changed, and once in a while spouses have to complement one another. Dance into space. Anauliza why we don't have images of an African family cooking. Tafadhali Google African man cooking, ndio huyu jamaa atoke kwa kesi yetu. Vingosi, wewe Roy, Marriage si kalongo. Mutual understanding is key.
Important.
That is the Ingosi. Joseph Wandera anasema Willy. Sawa Buddha. I assume Willy ni mimi. Joseph Wandera, Willy, women should cook for men, or okay, this is his views, not the views of Citizen TV or Willis. Or the man will find a second wife. Then he says now that's a lie. The winner takes it all. Oh, sorry, we are going to get my politics. And then somebody saying the discussion got serious real quick, and I think it's about some other things there. My friend. Then Sly Shakile says, no, we should cook in routines. Then if I cook today, you cook tomorrow. If you don't like it, stay hungry. I agree with Pastor that man should only cook when necessary. Woman is the helper to the man. To me, I love cooking. That is Mr. Yanuze or Jan anasema anapenda kupika. Women anasema tu women equal cooking. Bwana na uni Ronald Otieno. Bwana Otieno bwana. Na utaki kuwa romantic. And then somebody, Dr. Desmond Sagwe says, I can voluntarily cook for my wife because I love her, but let her not take advantage for me. Sheila, hope umesikia hivyo na ameandika.
You know what's really sad, Willis? And something is really sad. It is, forget about Pastor kijichimbia shimu huko in the corner. Amejaa matope saa hizi peke yake huko. But I'll tell you this, one thing that I have to, it's really sad on how the modern lady has changed and began to look at these things as subordinate roles. Not that you've said it yourself personally, but I'm saying that's one of the challenges. There are a lot of people saying, me, cook. Why? When I'm not working. You get what I mean? Now the role has begun to have no value. It has no respect. That the fact that you're actually taking care of this guy is a very respectable role. It's the same way you'd go to a hospital or an old people's home and look at those people taking care of those old guys. There's a lot of pride with which that work is being done. It's not to say that the one who serves the other is totally someone you should look down upon. And I'm not saying Sheila personally, but I am saying a lot of ladies today, they see it as an insult. A lot of young ladies today see it as an insult to cook for a guy. So the reason, in fact, she tengeneza hiyo jam lakini sio hiyo ya jamin no hiyo sio hiyo jam na sio hiyo ya mkate. They tengeneza jam at 8 o'clock because you think, why should I go home early and cook for that guy? That means they have completely forgotten what that role was. That role had a lot of respect. And I am supporting Sheila and saying, yes, it doesn't have to be man or woman, but whoever takes it needs to take it to the respect it deserves. It is not something where it's ping pong, we are merry-go-round. Nikipika mapema ndio ukipika mapema when ndio unapika. No, it's someone's role in that home. Let's decide.
You know, it's so interesting. I've heard the comments and I'm like, wow. Just wow. Look, let's get it clear. It's not that women don't like to cook. We do. Yeah? Just the same way you're saying you don't want to be forced is the same thing. But we know that we were raised by our mothers knowing that our work is to take care of our men. The only thing we weren't prepared for is that times are changing. Sometimes all you've been taught to do is to take care of your man, but your man is busy taking care of like 5 other women out there. His responsibility is to have a beer with his boys in the bar, which was not what my father or my grandfather was doing. He would come home, you understand. So things have changed, and on top of that, I'm an independent person. I'm taking care of my kids. I've got, everything is like literally just changing. You understand? So it is. That's why the first question I asked is, why is it in the 21st century when we talk about tradition, we're only talking about keeping women in the same position? And when we ask, okay, so how have men changed? Pastor will answer that in the book of blah, 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 Jesus or God said that the role of the man is this and the woman is supposed to be a helper. And then I throw it to Pastor and I tell him, not everybody is a Christian. You understand? People are dealing with different traditions. And here, we're not talking about religion. We're talking about tradition, which is 2 different things. Yeah? When the white man came to conquer Africa, where was the role of the man at that point? It had to change. He had to go out and fight. And the narrative is that it was only the men who were fighting. Mau Mau was full of the women because men couldn't move freely. So roles change. What I'm trying to say, roles change. And just the same way you said a man cannot give birth, that is that we're talking about biological functions. We're not talking about growth of mental. Everything that is happening in the world today, things are not the same. Your grandfather, great-grandfather will come right now and see you as the man you are today and might not like fully respect you because you become soft. And 100 years from now, it will change. So what I'm advocating for is when you get into that union, because it's a union, you must sit down and communicate and say, this is the role I'm going to take and this is the role you're going to take. But it should be a partnership.
We've agreed that there will be a role. So there won't be nikifika nyumbani mapema.
No, but inawezekana.
No. But one thing is, when Pastor used the example, I think there was a misunderstanding of an example used when he talked about biologically I'll never give birth. What he was just saying is there's an essence that will never be part of me. Yeah? He was not physically saying that let's sit down here and give him 9 months and see what he can do. Okay? He was just saying that there's an essence that is not part of me. And there's an essence, the same way when you put a child in a woman's hands and you put a child in a man's hand, you expect something different. That doesn't change. And we're saying care is an essence that women have. Right? Unless you are those other, if she chucks a slap, it can land you next week.
Excuse me.
That's a
traditionally,
not all women are good with babies.
But that's why we're saying generally, guys, not all anything is anything. We're wasting our time here sitting, having a discussion if we're waiting for everything to be everything. We're saying generally, this is the situation. Argument on what is the general consensus. Our argument is not what is the absolute consensus. What is the general? And the general consensus, I'm telling you, when it comes to taking care of that kitchen, I'll for one side with him for 5 seconds.
Done.
A woman is better in that place.
Alright. And what about, there are still other scenarios as well, where because it's gotten to such an extent, you see now the man saying, that's how we nitamwacha kwa sababu huwa ni piki, those kind of things, or the scenario you're talking about of house executive and stuff like that, because it still happens, yes. People say Nawacha because she doesn't take care of me, she doesn't take care of the home and stuff like that. What do you say to such?
Because they're going back for them the essence of what they think women are. Anyway, you can refund on that.
Let me comment something. I'm brought up by a lady who have never bought githeri beside the road. She was cooking githeri in her jiko. I'm brought up by a lady who have never bought chapati in supermarket. She knew how to do the chapati. My question is, I'm supposed to be a role model in my house. How am I showing my boys when I'm cooking daily? Am I not telling them this is how a man should behave in the house? So, I should show my children that I am doing this to help your mom. I'm doing this because I love your mom. But this is not work of a man. You do it when you just want to show, an appreciation of something. But not because your mom is rich. Every day I cook for you.
All right. Okay. Final comments from now 2242. Says, I agree with Pastor that men should cook when necessary, but Sheila should know that some African tradition can't change. Which, although she didn't say this, but somebody says there will never be a day a woman will pay dowry. Well, kuna watu wanafanyanga hivyo, waindi wanafanyanga hivyo. Somebody, Tom from Madaraka anasema, cooking is an art. Those who cook matope are crybabies. I love it when I see my family enjoy delicious food well prepared. Uli sasa ameandika, Sheila, wacha kuniangusha. If there is one thing that all religions have as a common denominator is the role of a woman. Sheila. Anyway, Mutapa anasema, Willie, we perish for lack of knowledge. Proverbs 31 talks of a woman who works, cooks, trades, takes care of many things, and everyone is honoring her. Let's follow the word of God and we will be well. That is Velesi, in brackets, a woman. Men, even if we women cook, wash, clean, bear children, men will always find an excuse. They can marry, again, words of this one, they can marry or go to hell. Who cares? I am independent. Zainab from Kibra. Panaina, a mother of 2. My firstborn anatembea na ako 3 years. The second ako 1 year and I'm working. Na sina helper. Don't you think my husband should appear to help?
Yes.
And then somebody here says, I support Sheila. Let's be realistic. The couple decides on what works for them based on situations they're in. Imambo ya society determining for them. No. That is the reason for many divorces. Work with what you have. The man should ensure he provides for the wife's needs and wants, whether or not she is working. If he's expecting her to come home and cook and clean after him.
I think I'll just mention one thing out of all these comments. Tradition changes. That has been my song from the beginning of this. I don't know who said that some roles in tradition will never change. My friend, you're just setting up yourself for disaster in future, because 20, 30 years from... Is FGM still going on?
But that's tradition. The tradition doesn't change. It's people upholding tradition that changes.
Yeah, so
tradition never changes.
Are we
so it's the people who change.
Because tradition is the foundation of who you are. That won't change. It's like your history.
It's a principle.
It's a principle. You don't change the commandments. You change how you uphold them.
So what
or how you treat them or how you refer to them. The commandment will not change.
What I'm asking is, who set these traditions?
Okay, that's a different thing. Now just saying tradition doesn't change.
It's just human beings, right? And we reached a point where we said, oh, FGM doesn't make any sense. In fact, when the white man came, he said, monogamy is the way. Sindio. And we practice that. In fact, we are practicing the white man's religion. Yeah? But people are still practicing polygamy in there. So what does that tell you? Tradition does change. It evolves. Yeah? The only thing is, when it comes to women, it is very stagnant. In fact, that is the only part where, go and do your research. You tell me one tradition that has changed in favor of women, because we're looking at, except FGM, and still there are people there who are still trying to work it. When anything that comes to upholding what used to be the role of the woman and the man, it's great. But me, what I'm saying, at the end of the day, you as a couple, you're seated in that house, you know the struggles and challenges that you're facing in 2017, you know what you've been told, but you know your God, and you know the people in your home. Make the right decision.
All right, good. I'm going to take final comments from...
what I would like to say is, let's maintain...
Start in the hole.
Let's maintain tradition. But love in the house can change some traditions. But when I cook, let not my wife go in the office telling other men, I don't mind when I'm late. He knows how to cook. It should be kept in a secret. It's so private. But I cannot see my wife dying because of overworking herself while I'm sitting down. So helping her does not hurt me. I'll help her, but when necessary.
All right. Right?
I think there are two things here. When we look at tradition, I said I am not building my sentiments based on upholding tradition. I'm building my sentiments based on, let's look at the reference of what people are, what their roles are, what they have been, and why those roles exist. Before we start saying, let's change, let's not change. When people tell you this is what generally happens, or certain behavior happens, it's to create order and to guide you. Rules are not there always to punish you or to order you around. They are there to guide you. Yeah? Before you say, when you have a rule, do not smoke, your first reaction should not be, may have changed, things are changing, smoking is the in thing. Find out, what is the reason this rule was set? What is it guiding? When the things and the guidance and the advice you get from both the Quran and also the Bible, in terms of how a man or woman should behave, don't look at it and say, things have changed, and therefore let me put the Bible in a cupboard, or Quran in a cupboard, and lock it up. I am saying half of those things have been set as guiding principles in life. And the reason that this particular one was set, I am telling you, is because of the nature of a woman as a homemaker. So the day women begin to challenge this one and see it as, oh, it should change, we need to get our revolution, fight for our freedom, get out, we need equality, we're being mistreated, it's just to look down upon us, they're forgetting this rule is to the advantage of them making a good home. Stop looking at homemaking as a punishment or being in subordination of your whole capacity. It is actually there because it elevates a woman's status. Believe me, you take care of that guy, you cook for him, the level it puts you on, completely a different level. You continue fighting for your German traffic, and you see where it will take you. So for me, I am okay with it either way. It can be a guy or it can be a chick. But that role is so important. and it is better done by a woman.
Right, Sheila?
Like I said, whatever is happening in your home, we can sit here and argue till tomorrow, but the two of you in that home know. Willis, you just married recently. Yeah? And I'll advise you. If you live here right now and she's in the office, do not be too proud to take the sufuria and cut those things, or iron her trousers, or take care of the home while she's away. That is also a job. Yeah, and I think when in the Bible where that is always being referred to, when God said helper, it means this is something we're doing together. Yeah. It was not. Yeah, it wasn't a situation of Adam, go and do this, Eve, sit down there. No, it was do this together. He needed a partner. He needed a helper. Let's not take that out of context. Yeah.
All right.
Can I just?
I
just want to do that one. Support on us. Again, I've said either can take the role. If the guy wants to wake up teams, naanze kupika.
Alright. Well, okay. Of course, different comments as well, and it's also important to note, though, and Pastor will tell you that the Bible also says submitting one to another. Yes, so see, to wife as submit husband, as submitting one to another. So it's at the end of the day, this whole discussion is to talk. These are things that everybody talks about, things that people grapple with, and we hope that it will be helpful to you. But at the end of the day, like Sheila said, mkonyinyi wawili, once you switch off the television, mutabaki nyoile jioni, jam or not, sickness or not, nyinyi tu. Lazima mukule, lazima kama ni take out ama ni kukula nyumbani. You guys decide on how you do your thing. At the end of the day, choices have consequences. Just make the right ones. Alright, that fits and suits you. So alright, we'll do this again next week. Thank you guys so much. As always, it got really sober up at the end. I had a little guy.
You know why it is that sensitive? Because I won't be a unga.
Alright, thank you guys so much. Don't go too far though. Citizen Extra is coming up next. You want to stay tuned for that. The hashtag then will be hashtag Citizen Extra. My name is Willis Saburi, reminding you as always that successful people look like you and like you will see tomorrow, like the great Manchester United. Booyah! Have a good day.